Okay. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya wal-Mursaleen. So it says, نُقَدِّمُ عَلَى ذَلَكَ بَيَنَ الْحَدِّ. And then we did this last time, the had. It says, فَصْلٌ فَأَمَّا الْعِلْمُ فَهُوَ مَعْرِفَةُ الْمَعْلُومِ عَلَى مَا هُوَ عَلَيْهِ فِي الْوَاقِعِ. Right? قالت المعتزلة هو اعتقاد الشيء على ما هو به مع سكون النفس إليه، وهذا غير صحيح لأنه يبطل باعتقاد العامي فيما يعتقد، فإن هذا معنى موجود فيه وليس ذلك بعلم. So he says معرفة المعلوم على ما هو عليه، هو اعتقاد الشيء على ما هو به، على ما هو به مع سكون النفس إليه. Anyhow, both of these definitions are kind of a bit off, and there's better definitions. But usually we say ilm is to have certainty. You feel certain about something, right? So your feeling towards it is a certainty. That's number one. Number two, your feeling towards what you're saying about it, the statement about it, giraffes are tall, agrees with reality. So you are certain that giraffes are tall. They are actually tall, okay? And you have a dalil, okay? So usually these three things are needed for ilm, right? So if you don't have a dalil, then you just have a feeling. Like I just know that this person is the right person for me to marry. I just know it. And like, why do you say that? Just feel it. Just like, So that's not called knowledge, right? It could be ilham, could be mail nafs, could be something else, could be other things that could be valid or useful, but that's not called knowledge, right? That's not called knowledge. Knowledge is like I know this, right? And we're not talking about rujhan. We're not talking about this is more likely. Like I know this, right? This most likely does not look like this growth looks benign. It doesn't, I'm almost 99%, That's not ilm. Ilm is I know that this is benign. This growth is benign. I know that a giraffe is tall in respect to a giraffe, right? What's your proof? I have a sufficient sample of giraffes and zebras out there, and I've seen so many of them that I know that as a fact, right? So it's not just my inclination, and it's not something that it's not merely inclination, nor is it something that I feel comfortable with. It's a fact I feel 100% about, and it does agree with reality, and I do have a dalil for it. That's called ilm, right? So why is that
Is that
relevant?
more
Go ahead.
is that more certain than ma'rifah? Al-ma'rifah?
Yeah, so ma'rifah in reality is quite different. Ma'rifah, like when you say ma'rifah, when you're talking about like ma'rifah of Allah is a Sufi term, it's kind of like it's a kind of a different thing. It's not really with the aql. And so it's kind of like that's more like an that's an undeniable feeling.
Mm.
Like so for example, when you feel like so if let's we translate ma'rifah as appreciation as opposed to knowledge, right? So everything is falling apart in your life, but you're very positive. Why? Because I know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make anything come out of anything. I know it in my core. Like I have my yaqeen and my ma'rifah of Allah's qudra. Like I know Allah as the khaliq, as the raziq, as, right? That's not really the same as saying I know that Allah can do things. When you say for example the believer ya'lamu anna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir, right? So so the believer knows that there is a creator God and he can do anything. He might not have ma'rifah of that though. He might not appreciate it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's like a qualitative side of it, and it's slightly different. So it's there in his brain, but it's not in his heart, right? So it's a kind of different kind of thing. And there's other reasons as well, like, yeah. And he says, so anyway, so he says, وَفَصْلٌ وَالْعِلْمُ إِذًا ضَرْبَانِ قَدِيمٌ وَمُحْدِثٌ, right? فالقديم علم الله تبارك وتعالى وهو So here now, if you say علم الله and علمنا, is it a feeling of certainty? Like, does Allah have dhan of anything? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a bit difficult to define ilm and then apply it to both because they're drastically different. So Allah's knowing and our knowing are kind of almost only similar in language, but not really the same at all. So my knowledge is kashf and dalil. He doesn't have kashf. He didn't lam yaktashif shay. You know, he doesn't need a dalil. You know, it's like telling the motherboard like there's a one here. It's like telling the motherboard it what itself like. Does the motherboard have to read itself? You know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
motherboard doesn't read itself. Like that's just what it has, right? And so the motherboard obviously made, and last point is not made, but the motherboard doesn't have to read itself. It has to read the other information that's given to it. You program it, we give it a program, but it doesn't read itself, right? Like for the motherboard, the physical thing that you put in there, these are just innate. I mean, let's say the mother, like it was born literally innate, like it was born like that, right? That's how the motherboard came into existence, and the systems that are there are unquestionable and could not be deleted and could not be changed unless you physically change the motherboard, right? So as opposed to data that you store, like for us, we are like a a USB, and you put the USB in there and you store the data in there, or you format it, right? So you don't innately know anything. It's just held there, right? Or a better example, you're putting information on a website, and that as long as you have connection, that you won't lose that. And then you realize, oh my God, I didn't have internet connection, and I didn't press save. So then I've lost all of that I was typing. Like it was being held there just on the screen, right? But as soon as
Is
you
it
press
correct to
refresh,
say like
go ahead.
is it correct to say like we for us we need an input to have the output
Yeah,
like
and we need
to say that we have knowledge?
yeah, it's almost a continual input. We need that current, basically, that current, and those that combination of what's it called? What's it called in electronics? The you know uh, combination uh, of
Logical circuits,
yeah, but you have what's the word? They called
transistors.
yeah, transistors, right? So like to make the
Yeah,
zeros and the ones, right? We need
yeah.
that. So now you pull the plug. I don't know anything. Like it's zero. What's your name? Or what is language? A zero. So it's a very different thing. Like one is a flow of electricity in a particular way. That's called our knowledge, right? And it is muhdath, right? It came into existence. It wasn't there, and it can go away in an instant, like without any effort. Like you just pull the plug and you don't know anything. Whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't pull the plug on Allah's knowledge because he didn't acquire it, he didn't learn it, he didn't not know it, and he's not dependent on anything. So it's a very, very different kind of thing, right? It's a totally different kind of thing. So ours is more like continual ta'lim as opposed to ilm, if that makes sense, right? Just like our existence, we exist and Allah exists, yeah, but he exists through himself and we exist through him. So it's not the same. فالقديم علم الله تبارك وتعالى وهو متعلق بجميع المعلومات ولا يوصف ذلك بأنه ضروري ولا مكتسب. So it's not ضروري like the knowledge that the motherboard has, right? ولا مكتسب, nor is it acquired like the data you put into the machine because it's not created to begin with, right? So it's kind of like the motherboard in that, but it's not. But the motherboard was created, so therefore, right? And so ضروري in reality, this is a relative term, right? This is a relative term. So if I say 5 plus 5, you don't think, you just know that it's 10. It became ضروري after mumarasa, right? After mumarasa. You know, name one element that's in the air that we breathe, oxygen, right? ضروري. You don't have to think about it. There's no processing. As opposed to, what is the cubed root of 4? You have to process it. You have to go through and try and work it out, right? So one is muktasab, you learnt it, you had to go through a process to find it. The ones you didn't have to go process. So it's in reality relative. والمحدث علم الخلق وقد يكون ذلك ضروريا وقد يكون مكتسبا. فالضروري كل علم لزم المخلوق على وجه لا يمكنه دفعه عن نفسه بشك ولا شبهة وذلك كالعلم الحاصل عن الحواس الخمس. So what's it called? Um, what do we call this? Just raw data, right? So I can feel something that's rough. Now, what this thing is, that's something else, right? I feel something that's rough. Oh, it's news. It's something else. But I feel something. I hear something, right? So like hearing a bird sound, you definitely hear a bird sound. Whether or not there's a bird there is something else, right? But so the inferences, that's something else. But we're just talking about, do you hear a bird sound? Yes, I hear a bird sound. Do you feel hungry? Right? Does this taste sour? Yes. Is it actually sour? That's something else. But does it taste sour? Yes. Right? عن الحواس الخمس التي هي السمع والبصر والشم right والذوق واللمس والعلم بما تواترت به الأخبار من ذكر الأمم السالفة والبلاد النائية. Right? Does Egypt exist? Yes. Do people exist? Are there people in Egypt? Yes. Right? Did Napoleon invade Egypt? Yes. How do you know that? So it's not just it's not just I don't know. It's that I've heard it from so many people. So it's impossible. عادة. It's impossible. عادة, normally speaking, for for a conspiracy to happen that Egypt doesn't actually exist, and Dr. Samah is part of that conspiracy. That's actually مستحيل عادة. Like it couldn't be pulled off normally, unless there was a miracle. It couldn't be pulled off. That they could actually trick me and Muhammad Hasha that Egypt doesn't exist, right? Or that Napoleon never existed, right? It's possible, Allahu Alam, that with AI now and internet, there's a lot of more things that could become like lots of things that are mutawatir that are actually not mutawatir, right? I don't know if people's experience with seeing videos, AI videos, like they used to be in a very short time, they used to be like really obvious, like this obviously didn't happen, it's like off. And then there's other things like, yeah, it looks pretty good to me, you know? Wallahu a'lam. It says, وَمَا يَحْصُلُ فِي النَّفْسِ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ بِحَالِ نَفْسِهِ. So meaning how you feel yourself. Do you feel sad? Yes. Do you feel happy? Yes. Right. من الصحة والسقم والغم والفرح وما يعلم من غيره من النشاط والكسل والفرح والغم والطرح عفوا وخجل الخجل, the embarrassment of the person who feels embarrassed, ووجل الوجل, and the fear of the person who feels scared, وما يشبهه أو يشبهه مما يضطر إلى معرفتي. I know that I feel this way, right? So there's a difference between I feel nervous and I have no understanding why I should feel nervous, right? That's something else. But you feel nervous, one or the other, one way or the other, right? Like that is reality. Okay, shall we stop here? صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.